I was introduced to Kara. They basically work with want to work with Prospera and that whole ecosystem to buy fractional shares in buildings. By the way, I thought this was the building you're talking about, the tallest. Is this the tower, or is that something different? Augustin Tower. I don't know.
No, that's something different.
Okay, so
Well,
basically,
that's interesting.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, that tower's not. That's beautiful. It's not under construction yet. Wow, I haven't seen that. Cool.
Yeah, I gotta maybe connect you guys, or you already know. Basically, look, they are rendering, right? So you're absolutely right. First, make the 3D rendering, which is cheap, right? 3D models, inhabit them, try it out. And not everyone is ever going to move. So the next thing I want to ask about, right, is e-residency and blended reality, like metaverse, like meetings, right? If I have a meeting and I have a wedding or I have an event and like half the people are here, or maybe 10% of the people are here, but the 90% of the people are not, right? I think there's going to be like this explosion of innovation with Apple's glasses that are coming out and the extended reality that you have on your phone. So you kind of look through your screen. I think people are going to figure out ways to connect the people who aren't physically in the event and the people who are physically in the event.
And this, like the incredible progress that we're like finally seeing in the metaverse. I mean, I was into this stuff in the 90s, right? We had books like Snow Crash, which was the first book in a long time to win the Hugo and the Nebula. And like now it's finally happening. And like this just directly boosts the network state sector, because if you think about it, like what does a network state have jurisdiction over? Right now, like before, like someday in the future, we want network states to get some degree of sovereignty recognition. Great. But like, what do they have today? They have jurisdiction over your digital activities, right? That's what they can do. That's what we can build. And so the more time people spend in the digital world, I mean, like you said, Greg, like, okay, it has downsides. We want to make sure they still get enough exercise and sunlight. But the more time people spend in digital worlds, the more of our lives we live there, the more we start having our meetings there instead of on Zoom. That's being in the digital territory that network states can own. And so as these products come out and as, just like more of our time is spent, say like working remotely and like collaborating in a digital space rather than going into an office, that's moving like human activity into the space of the network state. And so it's just going to be like that much easier when you spend 25%, 50% of your waking hours in the metaverse or other digital spaces that are governed by a network state. Just makes that much more sense to take it seriously.
I think it would be very serious. I think that, it's like dating sites. It used to be the fringe people who went on dating sites, I think in the 90s, or not fringe, but like people had suspicion. People had, oh, you didn't meet in real life? Like what's wrong with you? Like whatever. Yeah. And today there are people in Japan, I think like a few million people who just are like shut-ins. They just live, like they never leave their house. Yeah. They're called hikikomori. But I think that's not going to be that way. I think it will become the norm to like spend 4 hours with a VR headset. Like personally, there's two aspects here, right? One is the exercise and the meeting people. And I think that's super important. I will say, there's a book called Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam from 2001, and it speaks about exactly the collapse of sort of the American social community, right? People used to go to church. People used to, know their neighbors. People don't know their neighbors. Like I live in New York City, right? People do not know their neighbors to any great extent, and that's true all across the board. Whereas like in the past, like you got married, everyone knew you like since you were like 3 years old. So that idea, everything's changing, right? People are living alone in these apartments where, they get married later, they have children later and so on.